Hi my loves and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be my experience within the youth team. Just thought I'd share my experience personally because I know everyone's is different, but I just wanted to know if anyone had similar experiences or maybe has just been referred to the youth team and doesn't know what to expect, so can have some sort of idea of what happened with me. And yeah, I hope you guys find this video helpful and insightful, and I hope you can get something from it. Let's just get into it. I've written some notes down, so I'm going to go through like all the points that I've written down because I don't want to miss anything. So if I keep looking down, I'll edit it out, but I'm just saying I need to write things down to remember what I'm going to say. So I'll start with how I first got referred to the youth team. I was referred by the police, believe it or not. Basically, I was self-harming and putting a danger to my life and everything, and I was just really depressed and I wasn't getting any help from any services, and it took quite a significant thing for me to do to basically end me in a police cell for the night instead of as a place of safety, not as a criminal. But anyway, that's where I ended up, and I saw a psychologist in there and they referred me to the youth team. So that's how I got referred. My waiting time for my assessment was not long. I don't know if it was because it was an urgent one or what the deal was back then. That was when I was 18 I got referred, so that was 7 years ago now. Things have changed, but I didn't have to wait long for my assessment. I waited probably like a week or two, and then I went and met with the access and assessment team, who basically assess all your needs and what your problems are and decide whether or not you need a care co or a team for your mental health, or whether or not they can refer you on to other agencies that may be able to help. So yeah, I did that, and they decided that I did need help, and they designated me with a care co. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many care coordinators I've had over the 7 years. I did lose count. I think you're actually supposed to have one, but sadly and unfortunately people leave their jobs or become sick or they get promoted or something happens, and it is really common to not have change in care co. So I would just say be mindful of that. It's a bit crappy, but it is the way it is. But it's still okay. Like, there's loads of good care co's out there. And if you're not happy with your care co, you are able to change. I've done that before. There's been times where I didn't particularly get on with my care co and I wasn't happy. So I put forward that I would benefit from having someone new, and they did that. So they are really adaptable to getting you your needs and making sure that you get on with your care co, because it's really important that you do get on with your care co because they're the ones allocating your care and in charge of your care. So I'd say that's the most important thing. And with the waiting time, I'm pretty sure now it's different and the waiting list is a lot longer, because to get me a care co, it was pretty quick. I wasn't waiting that long. I can't remember waiting more than a few weeks to be allocated a care co, which nowadays sounds crazy because I know that it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But I'm probably well aware that a lot of you are on the waiting list to be seen or allocated a care co or something, and I know how frustrating it must be, but you know, I'm here to make videos and help you, and I've got lots of videos on I made one on DBT recently. I've got some on eating disorders and BPD. So in the meantime, you know, whilst you're waiting, you can always take advice from my videos or even message me on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram below, but it's Livtoflourish. Just give me a message and I can tell you anything that you're worried about, or even just offer you support as a helping friend, because that's what I want to do. Really like helping people, and I've grown so much with the youth service, and now I want to help other people. So yeah. To get into the youth service, you're usually referred by a GP or a health professional, or sometimes the wellbeing service, because sometimes the GPs refer you on to the wellbeing service to begin with if you're struggling with mental health issues, but they don't know how severe it is. So you may be coming from all those angles, but there is support out there that you can access, like Mind and Samaritans and stuff. So always tap into them whilst you're waiting for your assessment, because they are really, really good at getting you the help that you need. Also, rest. If you've never heard of rest, all you need to do is get referred by a professional. So get your GP to refer you if no one can, or a health professional in your team to refer you to rest. They offer support till 12 a.m. at night, and I've had such good experience with them. They are so lovely and are there for you to ring as many times as you need. You're usually referred to them for a couple of months, and you can use them in that time to just get extra support. And they even offer one-to-one appointments face-to-face in your local area to get you some more intense support. So if you can get yourself referred to rest, I would strongly recommend that. So yeah, I have had several care codes. As I said, I have lost count, good and bad, but we won't go into too much detail about that. Overall, I have had some really good care codes, and some that were so good and then left and it was so sad, and some that weren't. But yeah, there are really good staff there at my youth service. I went to 80 St Stephen's. I don't know what youth service you go to, but that's my local youth service in Norwich. And yeah, a care co is there to really be the magnet to your care. Like, they put it all in place and make sure you're getting the support from every angle that you can. So make sure that you tap into them and use them, especially if you're struggling. But once you get designated a care co, then it's from there. That's a good sign. So usually after you've been referred and you've got your care co, they'll sort out like a plan with you of how to move your care forward. And in most cases, they'll assign you a psychiatrist, your designated psychiatrist to go to, that will review your medications and like give you diagnoses and things, which is really helpful. So make sure that you're really prepared for your psychiatrist appointments, and go in and write things down in exactly what you want to say or what you're feeling, so that you can get the right help and the right medication. That's really important, that you prepare for your psychiatrist appointments so that you get everything out that you want to say, because it can be quite intimidating in there. But overall, the psychiatrists at 80 St Stephen's, most of them were actually amazing, like really good, and they really listened to me. They really just treated me like an individual and nothing lower. You know, they weren't on their high horses or anything. And some of them were really available when I needed them in crisis, because that's what you hear, that it's so hard to get hold of a psychiatrist. But in 80 St Stephen's, I was able to get hold of my psychiatrist really easily. So I'd really say that's a benefit to the service. So I'll now speak about the duty team. I've had good and bad things. It depends really on how busy they are. I don't know how many people they have on duty, but sometimes it's really hard to get through to them. And when you're in a crisis, they're the people that you'll get told to ring. So don't get your hopes up with... You can't rely on the duty team to save you from your crisis. That at the end of the day, I've learned that you have to put the work into. They are there to also support you, and they will get back to you. But don't rely on them, because I don't want you to get let down. But when you do get through to them, they are really helpful and can sometimes bring you in on the same day appointment to see you face to face, or offer telephone support for a few days from the duty team to get extra support. And they can sometimes often refer you to maybe the crisis team or something. So when you're in the youth service and you're having a really hard day, firstly try and contact your care co. But if you can't get in contact with your care co, then give the duty team a ring. That is my best bet. Now, the therapy at 80 St Stephen's is amazing. I will tell you that. Grab any therapy you can get, okay? Because their therapists, the psychology team, is incredible. I did DBT and it was life-changing for me. If you want to watch my DBT video, then go ahead. It's the video below. I'll link it in this one. But oh my God, it honestly, really, if they offer you the therapy, please take it, because there is usually a waiting list. So if they, as soon as they offer it to you, grab it with both hands. Or if they've not offered it to you and you think that it would benefit you, then tell your care co that and get you on that waiting list. Because I'll tell you, like, the therapy at St. Stephen's is really incredible, but you have to put your commitment in and do the work as well. You can't let them do all the work. That's what I came to realise. I thought that my youth team were my saviours and I relied on them to cure me, when that's so out of reality and it's not the truth. They're there to guide and support you, but they can't do all the work. There's work that you've got to put in your own time, because you only see them for an hour maybe in a week. So in the rest of the time, it's up to you to take on board what they have said and use it to your advantage. So please take the support from them, let them guide you, make sure that you're really fighting to make a difference and to getting better, because I can guarantee you'll see results, and they really do. You think that services will help you more if you're really seriously ill in crisis, right? But that was never the case for me. When I was in crisis and severely ill, I actually found them less beneficial than when I was doing better in a good place and using all my coping strategies and being positive and everything. And yes, you still allowed to have blips, and I did have a crisis after I was really good. But when I went into that crisis, my God, I got so much more support straight away, because they could see how hard I was fighting. And if they see that you're giving it your all to get better, then they are so much more willing to not let you go downhill again. Sometimes they feel like they can't help you if all you're doing is being destructive. They don't know what to do. They're trying to use their tools and it's not working. So sometimes they are just clueless on what to do. When you actually show them that you're fighting this and you're doing all you can, and then you do have a blip and a crisis, they're there straight away. That's what I want to tell you. Like, they offered so much support when I was in a crisis after I'd got better. So yeah, really work with a team, because they will really aid you in your recovery journey. I just want to say also, communication is so important. If you are having a bad day and you're struggling, please ring up your care co or ring someone. If you're still waiting for your assessment and you're really struggling, please ring Rest or the Samaritans or Mind or someone. Please reach out to me on Instagram. Honestly, like, I know that it's hard and it feels like rubbish. I would use another word, but I don't want to. You know what I mean? Waiting and feel like no one wants to help you. And I know there's just so many people struggling and it's heartbreaking. And I'm really, we do need more funding in mental health. We really do, in the community teams. There is not enough funding, and I wish I had the money to put into it, because I really would. But we have to make do with what we've got, guys. And my youth service really did help me. At times I hated it and thought they were rubbish, but overall, looking back, when I worked with them and really tried my best, they were a huge benefit. Obviously there's your ups and downs with things like this, so I will speak about improvements and what was bad and what was good, but I do want to say overall it was a really good place, and I had a really good experience with youth service. So I was with the youth team from 18 to 25. I think that my youth service is 16 to 25. So I was with them for 7 years, and I was going to be transitioned when I turned 25 in April. However, I must admit they fell down with transition, and that was not the youth team's fault by any means. That was adults. The youth team put the referrals in straight away and were constantly on the phone to get me referred to adults, because that would have been a smoother transition for me. And unfortunately, I can't say the same about adults so far, so I've only just come to adults and I've not really had a good impression, but it is what it is, and hopefully, you know, there will be some improvements made, but there's definitely improvements that need to be made. And I will say that was not the youth team's fault. They did really try to push me to get referred, but you know, that's a really good thing that they have a youth service for transitioning, because a lot of the time it's until you're 18 and then you go straight to adults, whereas they've got a young person's team which is 16 to 25, so it is a smoother transition, because when you're at the age of 25 you're more of an adult, so you're more feel like you can cope better going to adults. So that's a really good setup they have there. But yeah, the transition was all muddled up and it took ages and it wasn't good. I'm not going to go into it too much, but I just will say there is improvements to make. Now, one of the amazing things of the youth team is I was asked to be a part of the participation group. Now, they have a participation group within the youth service for service users that want to help improve the quality and service of the youth service. So if you are in the youth service and you are wanting to help in some way, then ask to be in the participations group, because you can also add that to your CV and it will look really good, especially if you are looking for a job in mental health or something. And it's where, you know, you help the service. We've done things like review artwork, we've made assessment cards for when you get assessed, we've made surveys. I got invited to a Zoom Teams meeting with all directors and team leaders talking about my experience within the youth service and what improvements need to be made. That was really scary, but also really nice to do, because I feel like, you know, I might be listened to and they need service users to speak out in these meetings to get the right support, because we know what needs to change, don't we? So I've had some amazing opportunities, and also the communications team, I mean, I haven't heard of them either, so don't worry, but they wanted me to write my story on their trust page and a video. So I've had some amazing things turn out of being in the youth service. And even now, like, I've applied for a peer support worker role for the youth team that I was under for 7 years. My God, I hope I get it, but there's just fantastic things that have happened from this, and I just want to say that if you are coming into the youth team, then really, I know you hear bad things, a lot of people put bad things about services out, but I mean, this is probably only beneficial to people that live in the same area as me, but Norwich is a really good, 80 St Stephen's is a really good service, and really utilise that. You know, you have your goods and your bads, but overall it's really good. I was just going to round it up, say like what improvements I feel need to be made to the service, and also what positives came from the service, because I feel like there has to be a balance. My first improvement would be for more peer support workers, because the people that have been through the youth service and have experienced mental health are probably one of the best people to help other service users. I would really take on board if someone had been in my position, like a peer support worker was supporting me in my recovery, because I'm not being funny, but you know, we can all have our degrees and stuff and be special trained in this, but it also comes from valuable experience. And if you've had the experience and you know what a service user is going through, they're more likely to feel like there's hope and feel like, okay, I can overcome this because you've been through this and now look at you. So I really feel like getting the funding for more peer support workers would be really beneficial to the service. I also think that involving service users in the DBT program would be really beneficial, as in helping people that are coming into DBT, getting like a peer support worker to help prepare them for DBT, because it took me years to want to do DBT and I was put off it. I heard terrible things about it, and I did not want to do it, all because of the group aspect and everything. But if there was someone that had gone through that program themselves and told me how much it helped them, that would have made me more inclined to do it. So I'd really think that would be an improvement for the service to make as well. And yeah, we all know this one, and it will be more funding, but there's nothing the youth team can do about that. It's the government. We need more funding, and if we had more funding, it could be a fantastic service. It really could help make differences to people's lives. But we'll keep fighting, guys. We'll keep looking for that. We'll keep trying to get funding one day at a time. The last improvement I was going to say would be for smoother transitions. But on behalf of the youth team, it wasn't their fault on their side. But in overall, communication between the youth team and adults needs to be addressed, and there needs to be smoother transitions for people that have come out of the youth team going into adults, because it's not fair on the service users having a messy time of transitioning onto services. It's not fair. So I really think that we need to make sure that we're getting the smooth transitions for the service users. But anyhow, let's get on to the positives of the service. Great therapy programs, absolutely amazing, could not recommend it anymore. Do the therapy because it is great. They have great psychologists, okay? Great support when I was in a crisis, after I was doing well, because that's your worry, isn't it? You think if you're going to be doing well, then the services are not going to give you as much support. But it's completely the other way around. If they see that you're putting in effort, then they are going to want to help you even more, because they know how much you're trying. And that just proved it. Because when I went into a crisis after having a really good period of being in a good recovery, I got the right support compared to when I was doing really badly in the service and then I went into a crisis. I didn't get the same support because they didn't know what to do with me. So I would just say, if you work with them, you can get the support you need. Don't feel like you have to do drastic things and be really, really bad, get yourself into really, really bad situations in order to get help, because I'm telling you that's not the case, okay? And on top of this, because I did so well with the youth team over the past year, I mean, I'm not counting the other years, I wasn't doing so well before that, but when I got my act together and I started doing my therapy, because that's what works, I even got offered extra 6 months of therapy with adults, and I'm not sure that comes by quickly. I'm not sure that comes by very often. So they will really fight for you when you're transitioning on to adults as well. If you're doing well, they will get you all the support you need. So just work with them, guys. Another positive thing is the participation group. I really recommend that you join it because it's a fantastic way of helping us improve the service and getting our service users' involvement. We really matter to helping improve the services, and they will listen to us. So get involved in that participation group. And lastly, I just want to say there's lots of caring and compassionate staff members there. You always get your odd few, but that's how it is. But just work with them, and I really wish you luck within the service. And if you've got any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to ask me. And just to end the video, I'm just going to say what the support available is if you are in a crisis. If you're in a crisis, you can ring the first response team's number, which I will put in the comments below. You can ring Samaritans. I'll put all these links in the comments below. You can ring REST if you're referred to them. I spoke about them earlier, so get a referral to them. Mind helplines are really good. And another one that I'm not sure if many of you have heard of is Couth. I'll see if I can find the link for it. I'm pretty sure I can. But that's a chatting, they do therapies with chatting with each other once a week. And I don't know how to explain it, but if you're not good at talking and you're shy about talking on the phone and things or face to face, then you can type to a therapist or care support worker and they will support you. So if you're better at typing things, that's a really good way to connect with people when you're not in a good place and to get the right support. So I'll see if I can find the link for that as well. But I hope this has given you some insight into what to expect from a youth team. I'm not sure all of them are going to be the same, and it's unfortunate, but I have had good experience, luckily. I'm not so sure what I'm going to do with adults, but yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. Good luck with your recovery journey, and just work with them, guys. All right. Stay strong, and I'm sending you all my love. Bye.